What is up, everybody? This is the Outerhaven, and recently we had a chance. Well, two of these other people had a chance to go check out PAX West 2023 in Seattle, Washington last weekend. And these two gents had a chance to go check it out, which is great because it's the first time that either one of these two went to the convention. So what we're gonna find out is what they enjoyed, what they didn't like, what they did like, and everything that comes with that. So with that said, I'm Keith Mitchell. My buddy at the bottom is Matt, and the other guy is Scott. I almost said the wrong positions because everything's flipped on my monitor here, so it's really hard.
Yeah,
And then
so
when I edit this stuff, it's gonna be completely different. So regardless, so
good
gents,
old Getlious over here.
this is all about you guys. This is all about PAX West. Obviously, it was a lot different for you, Matt, than it was for Scott because you live on the West Coast, Scott, and Matt, you live on the East Coast with me. So let's talk about you, Matt. How was your trip out to the West Coast? Because I heard it wasn't as the things didn't go the way you should have wanted to go, right?
Yeah, everything went terrible. So I was supposed to be there Thursday night, and I got screwed over by my taxi being actually 12 minutes late, which made the whole thing late. And then I also got screwed over by PAX. I got the 1 in 500 when I got searched, so I missed my flight, and they gave me a new ticket, which hopefully I'll be reimbursed for that soon, and other things with it. So I missed that, and had to come in the following day, which was the Friday. I was supposed to be there Thursday night, but I got there Friday. So when I got there Friday, I made it early. I booked the flight. Everything landed perfectly. 6 hours. I got some comfy leg room. I play my Steam Deck. I play some Death Bowl, which is a really good game. I landed in Seattle, and before I got to the convention, I met Scott. I took a taxi ride, and it was like I want to say 1 or 2 in the afternoon in Seattle. Right around that time, I got there, and the taxi guy tried to run the classic taxi scam on me, where he would turn off the lights in his car because I actually take cash, and he's like trying to rip me off. The ride cost $50. I was going to tip him 60, but he tried to rip me off, and I do what I do to you, Keith, and you know what I do to you because when you get me upset, I did this to him, but I got more belligerent with him. So you got to understand, Keith, when you get me upset, you only
Oh
like
boy.
at tier 1. This guy gets tier 5. Yeah, you already know what I do. So yeah, he gets tier 5. I literally looked at him and said, if you're gonna do the turn on lights right now, I'm gonna walk out this car and get nothing. All right? He's like, what? Turn on the lights so I can count the money. And he got belligerent, and I said, all right. I was put my hand in the car and walk out. I was like, all right, all right. I turned it on, paid him 50, and I got my thing out the car. Like, it's broad daylight, you stupid idiots. Why would you turn off the lights in your car where I can see the sunlight beaming through the window in here? You're trying to. It's the trick is that if it's dark at night, you turn the lights off in the car so they can't see. So you would overpay them the amount they deserve. This is why taxi kids are getting run over by Uber. You don't deserve it.
I
You
was
deserve to get
surprised you
run
took an
over by Uber.
actual taxi. That was my next question.
Well, the thing is, the reason why is because I couldn't find the Uber pickup at the airport because they put them on the other side of the airport.
Yeah, they did that at
So
the
I was like,
Philadelphia airport as well. It's I think most airports are doing it now because when we went to Massachusetts for PAX East, it was hell trying to figure out where the Uber and the Lyft park. We had to walk to the other side of the
exactly.
airport to get to them.
Exactly. So that was just complete BS. So I just like screw it. I'll just pay it. It's fine. But taxi is still running scam like it's 1990s, and it's like you deserve to get run out of business. I unironically believe that. Like I can't believe you're gonna still try these. Like, what is wrong with you, man? Literally, broad daylight. Like you can't. You're such a thief in your brain cells. Like I'm gonna steal from you in broad daylight. No one is that stupid. The sun is out. You can see people walking.
Well, I'll leave that one alone. So you did
Yeah,
not
but
have a pleasant trip.
no, just from that. And then I had to meet Scott, and Scott, we can get all the adventures of how I met Scott, but I was just it was a wild one from that one. But that was day one, and yeah, Scott can give you more details about it day one when he got there before me. So
Yeah, I actually made it on time, but that's because a 3-hour train doesn't take nearly as long as a 6-hour
Wait,
flight.
wait, wait, wait. So where do you live at exactly, Scott?
So I live in Vancouver, Washington. So it's about 3.5 hours from Seattle. And so
Jeez.
I took a train up there, and I stayed with my parents who live in Duval, Washington, which is just like
where there
30
was no
minutes
Robert,
away.
which there are no Roberts and Robert Duvall. It's just kind of weird, you know.
Yeah, Duval is a very humble town, so to speak. It's one of the areas that's like in the greater Seattle area that's not nearly as sophisticated. It's a lot more urban, a lot more landmass, but not a lot of like houses and stuff like that.
Yeah, so a lot of trees. They got cows. You got horses.
Yeah.
You got old school style roads. You know, it's still it's quaint. I like it. Like it's old school roads. You got no one out there asking where your money at. Like, oh no, please not me. Yeah. But honestly, it's a decent suburb with some good roads. That is a very nice way to describe it.
And both of you, were you sent your tickets, or did you have to pick them up at will call when you got there?
We had to pick them up at will call.
Okay.
So
So how was it, guys? Like your first PAX in Boston, like you walked through the doors, like how was it? Was it packed? Was it busy?
I'd say the beginning was very confusing. So this year was the first year that PAX West usually only has one building, and then it has one hotel that has like all the other like media stuff going around. This PAX West, they separated all of their expositions and all their panels into 3 separate buildings and 1 different hotel room for getting the will call badges. So you had to figure out what kind of building you're going for, because there were 2 different expo showcase halls, and both of those were in 2 different buildings, completely on different sides of different streets
That doesn't
in
make any
Seattle.
sense.
It is very confusing. And it makes it even more confusing when you have like a booth number and you can't find where the booth number is, so you have to check the other building to make sure that it's not that booth number over there.
Right.
So
it was separated between like 2 buildings.
Most of them, yeah.
It was like one was called the Summit and one called the Arch, and they're completely separate from each other. You have to like cross the street to get there. It was rough walking back and forth between them, and it was like I'm like, bruv. And but the one thing that we learned that is no matter actually in the Arc building, I'll good friends of the website Nintendo ends up like owning their own section, Nintendo Live, which was not a great experience because they didn't media. They took like their own media. It felt like the Nintendo convention, outside of it being for Nintendo quotation marks, was essentially like a charter school inside a school. If anyone anyone know what a charter school is? I have to explain that.
I know what a charter
Matt,
school is.
you're a little light, little soft there, just a tad bit.
A tad bit soft. And I'm trying to hold back all the love that you keep giving me lately. You know.
I'm talking about your volume,
But
buddy. Your volume. It's a little light.
it's a little light. Yeah. I'm not holding back. That's the volume right there. It's right there.
Yeah, so Nintendo Live was a confusing thing. Basically, Nintendo partnered with PAX, and their partner basically included them taking 3/4 of the Arc building, and the other 1/4 of the Arc building, which is the top floor on the right side of it, which is just known as the Sky Bridge, was all PAX West Expo.
Now,
but
is this building big? Because I'm trying to compare this to PAX East. So when you go to PAX
it's
East,
a relatively big building, but the thing is, it's like basically it has one big central hub that has floor stories, and then it spreads out. It's weird, like when you look at the building itself, it's small, but then you look at like the top on the 4th floor, and it's just like a giant saucer kind of a deal. So you have a very small like entry point that has a bunch of escalators and stairs and elevators that go all the way up to the top, and then it spreads out into a lot of different areas. And so it was very interesting to have to figure out. But Nintendo basically took up most of this Arch building, which was apparently what they used to only have PAX West in. Was all of PAX West used to be just in the Arch building, but they separated it into the Summit as well as another building called the Annex. And the Annex is basically just like there's no actual showings. It's just a bunch of like technology safe spot. It's where the PC gamers go. It's where like the card gamers go. It's where like you can get autographs from voice actors, I guess. So it's like all the stuff that actually doesn't deal with like video games and all of the actual like media kind of thing. So we never like spent any time at Annex.
Yeah, I'm trying to. That's what I'm trying to figure out here, because what you're describing is like, I don't know if you've ever seen the pictures for PAX East, but it's one gigantic floor. Like,
well, yeah, because they rent out the whole place.
Yeah, they rent out the entire place. So the PC gamer section is there, the card game section is there, and they're massive. Nintendo's there, all these other companies are there, and like PAX East of this year, and they still had like a good 1/3 of the floor left.
Right, yeah. The thing is that like they rent out a lot for PAX West. The thing is that like And this actually happened as time went on. The Arch building, Nintendo took more as the convention went longer. Nintendo took more and more and more of the space.
You mean
As
like
they
he
did.
literally was like, "Look, this is mine now. Go somewhere else."
Yeah,
Or
I mean,
it
if you
started.
look at like the Nintendo Live stuff on like YouTube, they have a lot of stuff there. They took basically everything they had in the New York store as well as the Nintendo headquarters and just
Yeah,
put it in
jeez.
PAX West.
basically, yeah.
And they'd be
It's a
holding out
lot.
on PAX East. That makes me feel really bad. But
Yeah,
since
yeah.
we're talking
They
about
don't. This,
Nintendo, you were talking about your experiences and you didn't have a good time. What exactly was happening there?
So
all right. So
Nintendo Live is a weird thing where basically you were if you got a badge with PAX, you would basically be entered into a raffle to maybe get a Nintendo
That
Live
doesn't sound
extension
good.
added onto your badge. The only other way to get into Nintendo Live was a specific invite from Nintendo, or if you played 4 months ago at a Mario Kart tournament and if you won.
What?
hmm yeah, they made it
That's
very
not
very
cool.
exclusive. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was
And that
annoying.
was
Well, that's garbage.
so it was almost yeah.
No. What did you say, Matt? Say what you were going to say.
I was gonna say like that was kind of like a situation. It didn't really. It felt like they ran their own convention within the convention, like a charter school, and then like at that point they should just have their own convention. It feels no point, you know.
Yeah, at that point,
'Cause it's
especially if
like
it's an RNG thing and people that want to check it out couldn't check it out. I mean, I would have rather at least they had long lines and then cut you off the line. That way, it wasn't NRG like, "Hey, you get to go, you get to go. Everybody else, you stay out there, you get to go." That's not cool.
Yeah, it basically got decided, I think, like a month ago based on how many people had badges, and then they were like going to do a random number generator of how many of those badges were going to be able to go to Nintendo Live. They have
That's
a whole
not
thing
cool
on
at
the
all.
process on their website, but it was dumb.
All
yeah, it
right,
was
so
very I say not good.
so you're there. You've been there for a while. Obviously, Press Scott, you got to check it out. I don't think you were there, Matt. Press gets an
Yeah.
hour of the just free reign, do whatever they want to do. What did you do your first hour there?
My very first thing I did is I went to the NIS America booth and destroyed the boss.
Yeah,
Did they let you just
he
walk
won.
there,
He
even
won.
though it was press hour? They were like, whatever, we don't care.
Yeah, so I actually waited till public opened to go to the panels, but that's mainly because I wanted to get my wife her badge before everything started, and I had to wait for that. So I was able to get the badge as soon as it opened, but I had to wait to get her badge because she got a public badge. So I still waited till 10, but that was the first thing I did at NS America and beat the boss, got the pin. I then went to a booth that I had a planned appointment with, which was a game called Mirthwood,
I've heard about
which
that. A lot of
was
people are talking about that game.
so the reason I wanted to visit it was because like they have like a cool, really cool logo. Like their key art for the game looks amazing. And when I played it, it wasn't as good as the logo, but it was still a very interesting and an entertaining like concept. Basically, if you like combined Fable with like Sims character mechanics. So
Okay.
Fable, the original Fable, I should say, you have a lot of freedom and creativity in what you do with NPCs. You can kill them, you can have battles, you can marry them, like you can do like anything with them. So they took this and then implemented like Sim social mechanics. So not only can you basically do any of these things, but now you can also have a lot of different dialogue type trees that actually like expand upon people. But the difference though is they weren't like specific dialogue. It was just like you can have their personalities, their fits, and you can see like what they can actually do or what they like. Like this person likes humor. This person likes being annoyed. This person likes very easy conversations. This person likes discussing the politics of poverty. Like there's a lot of things you can discuss, and you basically get like a heart if they like it or a very sad face if they don't.
All right.
But it's funny. It's fun because if you have two different NPCs that like collide with each other, they'll start interacting in different ways, and based on their personalities, it'll be like what their go-to social sim is. And if you have two NPCs that interact that are like complete opposites, they'll just turn into like a straight out brawl in the middle of the street, which is actually hilarious. It was still in a very early alpha build though, so there were some things that was they definitely still needed to do because they implemented like the fatigue mechanic, a sleep mechanic, a edible mechanic where you actually need to feed yourself or you'll go hungry. The problem is, if you're too fatigued, you get too tired, and you'll do much worse at like dialogue stuff. You'll also do much worse at like battle. And the problem is they didn't actually incorporate a sleeping mechanic yet. So that's one of the reasons why they only gave you a 30-minute thing, because after like 45 minutes of the game, you're just too tired to do anything, and they haven't implemented the full sleep mechanic of the game when I was playing it.
All right.
So it was interesting, and I think it's a very cool concept to like kind of bring back the Fable type like freedom and creativity elements with also implementing like a Sims type dialogue tree where it's just like there's no actual like dialogue, but you can see what people like and dislike based on what you actually want to talk to them about. Basically, after Mirthwood, I went straight over to lunch. Then I had another appointment at the PDP booth.
Oh yeah,
Were
the Realms controllers.
showing off the Realms controllers. Yeah. And they were showing a variety of games. The one that I spent most of the time on was Sonic Frontiers, because I thought it was humorous to play a Sonic game playing as a Knuckles controller. But
I read the article about that. So what do you really think about that? 'Cause I think that's just, I don't know, man. Like you said, it feels like it's something for those who like collecting controllers.
It definitely feels like they want to go towards the collectors, and knowing that they're basically the ones that helped out with like Skylanders and Disney Infinity and their figurines and all that makes me understand that it's just like a natural extension to their we can actually still implement collectibles that are also useful in the game, but at the same time it's also geared more towards the collectible rather than the actual game itself, kind of a deal, which I think is fine. Because of where its placement is, it didn't have any rumble features or anything. But I did appreciate how light and how just like simple the controller was itself. It wasn't very heavy duty, but at the same time it was still very functional, and it seemed durable for what it was made out of. So like they put a lot of thought into it. But I don't know if it's going to be something. I mean, it's definitely not a type of thing for everybody, but at the same time it's actually like it's like $30 for a wired controller or $40 for a wireless. So it's relatively cheap in terms of controllers go, especially with how more expensive controllers keep getting.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see it as a viable thing for people who want to get like an easy controller but don't care enough about like the haptics or the feedback or making sure it's like a specific build.
See, so when you say that, it kind of makes me feel like those who play fighting games. Because no, listen, because
Yeah.
there are no frills. We don't need haptic feedback or that stuff. We really don't need that in the controller.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I just can't get past the transparent stuff. I always thought when you saw a transparent controller or a translucent controller, they're not very durable. They
Party
break.
garbage because of that was pretty much all the controllers on like the PS2 and the PS3 era. If you had a see-through controller, it was a $10 controller that worked for a game, and then you threw it away.
So I'm not sure where these are going to fall, but
I admit that I don't know the full extent of how durable or how effective the controller is. It seems more durable than those older controllers, but at the same time, it is not going to be a controller people want to get for longevity. So, but the funny thing is they are also with Victrix showing off their
I don't like the Victrix controller. It's like, Scott, why did you say that, man? Those are
I didn't say I didn't like it. I looked at it and I was just like, I don't know how it functions.
They're beautiful.
He's like, have you played fighting games? I'm like, I've played fighting games. I'm not a fighting gamer. I was actually hoping to eventually go to the Arch building again with Matt to basically have him play on those controllers, because I'm like, he's a fighting aficionado, but I'm not. But we didn't get a chance because our day at the Arch was super busy. But
what were you doing around this time, Matt?
He was still on the plane at this point. He didn't land until after this, when I went to the Lords of the Fallen gameplay demo. He landed as I reached there.
All right. Well, since you talked about the Lords of the Fallen, and I'm sorry, I was supposed to be at PAX West, but life got to me. That house stuff got to me. I really wanted to go, so you subbed in for me. So I want to hear. Did you enjoy it? I know you're not a Souls-like player, but did you enjoy it?
So I actually did. Something that's interesting that I thought they did is they incorporated a lot more speed into the game. They have different mechanics for rolling, dashing, and then a dash behind, and all on how many times you press like the dodge button. Normal dodge, if you press it twice in succession, you dash. If you press it like twice, one after the other, you'll dodge and then dash behind. So they put a lot of like mobility in it. But at the same time, I think the thing that stood out the most in terms of like Soulsborne type elements was they introduced a mechanic called like Umbral,
Mm-hmm.
which basically Umbral is like you have basically two types of worlds. The first one is like what you can normally see, and the Umbral is like the like demonic world that you can see when only when you're in the Umbral state or when you hold an Umbral lantern to it. So there are things that there's like bridges that you can only cross by holding an Umbral lantern. There are bridges you can only see with an Umbral world. So you can actually turn into an Umbral form to have it just be the Umbral world in case there's like platforming sections that you can only see through the Umbral and you don't want to use a lantern because you won't know where it is. So that's kind of cool. They also basically implemented the Umbral form as another aspect of like when your character dies the first time and you're not in an Umbral form, he'll just instantly turn into his Umbral form and you have another chance to fight the person that you're at. But it's a risk reward sense because once you turn into an Umbral state, everybody on that map now knows where you're at. And it can get into a big map, so you'll be going and realize that there's like 30 demons chasing after you, and you're just like, oh no, oh no, oh no.
That sounds like something I would enjoy. I'm looking forward to this game. Did you get a chance to fight any of the bosses?
Yes, I fought the first two bosses. The first boss is basically a tutorial boss that helps you master the parry mechanic. Because as most Souls games, blocking doesn't help you that much. But parrying helps a lot. So when you block at the right time and you do like a perfect guard, you can also get like extra damage as well as have them have like a bit of a stun fit. And so their boss was basically just helping you master the tutorial in terms of parrying. The second boss that I fought was like a giant dragon that could teleport all over the place, and you had to basically follow his patterns, make sure that you weren't in the spot where he's blowing fire at, and hope that you can do some damage.
Because fire is bad, right? Warcraft players?
Yes.
Stay out of the red.
Oh, yeah, man. So I imagine that you'd have a great time fighting the second boss a lot more than the first boss. Because I found the first boss as an actual, like, I would call it easy, but in terms of Soulsborne, it's actually a pretty simple boss. He only had like 3 or 4 different movesets that he just used one giant kind of a weapon where he just either slash horizontally or he'd go like on a bash your head in with it. So there's only like a small amount of moves that you just had to master, and it was just for you to parry and then get your hits in. The other one was more of learn his pattern and hope sure that you know how to dodge.
Cool. So you had fun playing it though.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun playing it, and it's funny because about 30 minutes as I was playing it, because that entire demo itself is about an hour long. So I was about halfway through, and then the second media person who was there left. They actually let my wife play it, and she was having a very hard time against the tutorial boss.
Man, that sounds bad. Not that your wife was playing, but somebody else was playing. It was like, all right, I'm done. I walked away.
Well, they might have just been there already at their hour time and finished it, but...
How much of the game did they let you see? Did they let you see the available characters, or was it only
They let me
see
stages? All the characters that they had currently at the playtime, which I think there were 8 different classes that I can remember. The one that I played is the basic Templar Knight one, because I just liked that he had a shield, so I was hoping that was actually going to be incorporated at all, which it kind of is, but again, blocking doesn't really do all that much for you.
And parrying is the way to go. There's a lot of games, a lot of Souls games are moving away from the turtling tactic, basically block, attack. A lot of them are putting more parrying systems in place, so I like that, which means you have to be more aggressive as you play.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see they're doing that with this game.
Or so just get closer to the dead zone. That's really it.
What?
Dodge attack.
It just like an Elden Ring or a Sekiro. You just say DS3. If you get closer to your enemy's dead zone where they attack, and then you just beat them. All it really matters is what is the distance between you and the dead zone, and then you just beat them out of it.
Well, it depends, because some of those games also they cheap you where you get into their dead zone or you try and circle around back of them, which is kind of a joke with Dark Souls. They keep saying all you gotta do is move to your left and right. But certain ones will follow you because they break 3D.
Well, it depends if this hacks are circular, but mostly the dead zone trick still works. So it's like,
So
So I was kind of hoping to restart and do another character, but I was already like 45 minutes in. And I was like, I don't want to try doing the tutorial boss as a different fighter. So
but I'm glad that the experience was a positive one for you.
it was a fun one. So it wasn't like I dreaded it. I knew that I wasn't going to be as good, of course, but I did have my experience with Bloodborne, so I wasn't completely hopeless.
There you go. Everybody's got experience with Bloodborne. When did you get
Probably
to
the
the
best.
event, Matt?
Right
As I said
after
before,
Lords of the Fallen.
Okay.
yeah, I said like I got there around like 1 between 1 to 2 p.m. that time after my lovely argument with the taxi man. And luckily I didn't hurt him because I've been a crime. Who knew, right? So after I got there, I tried to get in contact with Scott. I couldn't. My body was just tired because I was realized after I picked it up, I was in the Arch building, not in the Summit building. So I was just wandering in this Arch building, like an idiot the whole time. So he had to go to a second meeting. I forgot what the second appointment was, and I just took a nap in the middle of the Arch place,
You
sleeping because
just
I just
cop
like
a squat, just sat there like I'm going to sleep. Leave me alone.
pretty much.
Yeah, the
I
worst
just
thing too was that so I told Matt initially to look for the Summit building, and he just saw the Seattle Convention Center, went to the first one he found, which was the Arch building. He's like,
yeah,
"Yeah, I'm
which
at
I
the
thought was the
fourth
Summit,
floor of the Summit building." I'm like, "Okay, I'll be there after this." So when I
and I
showed
thought it.
up, I was like, "Where are you?" I'm at the fourth floor, and he's just like, I'm somewhere here." And then I actually asked him like what was around him, and I'm like, "Oh no, that's not the Summit
Yeah,
building."
because right, which also makes me hate the taxi man more because he just dropped me in front of there when I said drop me at the convention center. So he didn't deserve the $10 tip at all, which even makes it even better. See, see my justification for things. It sounds better when you put it all together, things like that. So, I had to deal with that, and then Scott was like, "Go grab some food," and I was like, "Yeah, I'll grab some food." So I grabbed some food. I talked to some convention goers, and then a lot of people who were still unironically still Blizzard fans, which was like depressing to have that conversation with them. Because the season 1 and Diablo 4 was just trashed here. Let's just be honest, it was a trash can, and they believed that it's going to get better, and it was like hoping for this. I was like, wow, you people have a lot of hopium in you. I would have like this is the sign to get out. Like whatever is D4, but I was being in my best behavior, being polite. So I ate some food, and then Scott met up with me when I waited for him, and then the worst thing happened in my life. Outside of being Keith's friend, I know that this thing. Worst thing happened to my life was I lost my travel bag, and I couldn't find it. I retraced all my steps, couldn't find it. Then we met the nicest PAX lady who was working there, and we're gonna retrace our steps. She showed us a security phone. We met the security, and the security phone person told us where to meet them to pick up my bag. After I told them what was in the items, right? So it took us forever to find it because for some reason, Scott, Pike and Ninth is not a real street. It is actually it put it on the cornerstone of a yield sign between two streets. But we knew where
Yeah.
it was when we found we knew where it was when we found them. And I was going through food doomer mode. I was like calculating how much money I lost, what was in there, worst case scenario. Did I lose any of my work items there, such as like my Access City token and things I do for banking stuff. I thought about all the people I should destroy after this, like any vindictive person my age would do. So I went there and I met the nice officer guy, and he's like, I went through your stuff. Tell me what it is. I told him everything. And said, all right, what type of gum you had? Mentos, the fresh maker. He looked at me like, how do you know the stuff in your items? I just do. Like he was just surprised, right? So like, how do you know? I know every item in my backpack. It's like I know everything I'm talking about because I keep it all in my head. That's what you got to do. Got to memorize everything you're doing. Memorize it. Because if you don't, and if you question got wrong, he would not give me my items, and I would have lost. He would thought I was a thief. That would have been horrible. But once we got through that, we were late to the Yes Bird people because we told them we'll be coming, and then we got late, and that was day one for me, surviving. But we went through, and they went home to Scott's lovely abode in Duval. Again, no relation to Robert Duval, and it was nice meeting the people, and that was it. That was day one.
So how long were you there? How long were you both at PAX?
The first day,
No, in
uh,
general, like the
or in
entire day.
general. So
Let me check my
Friday,
watch.
Saturday, and Sunday, where we were at PAX.
So you were there
Yeah, Friday,
all
3 days.
all weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So you got through day one. What was your highlight of day one?
losing my shit and then almost getting robbed by a taxi man. That's the highlight.
But you got it back.
Not the month. Not well. I got it back, but the taxi man tried to steal from me. I don't even get that back.
But we don't care about the taxi
like,
man. You got your stuff back.
Yeah, but he also tried to rob me $10.
But all right, PAX West, you're inside the building. What was your highlight?
Me
My
losing
highlight
stuff. That was the highlight.
was beating the boss in Disgaea 7.
Okay, so
I didn't do anything. I got robbed. Yeah.
all right, so day 2, you're there together.
Yep.
What was the first place you guys went to?
So the first thing we did was canvass the area of the summit building so that we knew of what things we wanted to look for right before appointment at, I think it was 11 was our appointment on the next one.
Yeah, first appointment. I think it was.
I have it written down.
Yeah. I don't think it was Zoria. Zoria, the Age of Shattering.
Zoria was not the first one. Oh wait,
the first one. No.
It was the first one. Dang.
You see,
That was
Scott,
that one.
Man.
Yeah, you see, Scott. You see. This is why you need to, like, unironically, when I say stuff, like, I'm 90% right because I remember. I have this thing called memory. It's a good skill to have.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was probably Zoria, and we walked around a bit. We played Shot One. Shot One. Shot One.
Oh
we
yeah,
played it for
got
a
the
bit.
video of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Check it out. It's a good Windjammers X game, but the controls are too simplified. Where dash, hit, and strike are usually one button, and in Windjammers 2, it's not. So I told the devs about it. I supported the dev by buying a cool sweater and a tote bag, but they were cool. I think the game is obviously in early access, but it needs some help because it's like there's a reason why we have a 4th button. It's one of those that, what if I made it simple? Like, no. Because in Windjammers, you need throw, strike, dash, block.
I'm really surprised, Matt, that you didn't tell them to let you be their spokesperson. How much of a fan you are of Windjammers?
I tried that, but they realized I was that guy, And speaking of being that guy, I'll joke about this. So, after we played some Shot One, it was a good place. A couple of games of Shot One. Scott found Ultralium Shift, an indie RPG I kickstarted years ago and played it. He could talk more about that. But while he was playing, Mrs. Adams, I jokingly it's Kelsey, but she was there watching you. She was having fun with it too. And there was this one indie, I would say hipster jerkbag, was trying to show how much he know more games than other people in front of people. And I'm like,
oh no,
Jesus Christ. He was on those
I already
people.
see where this is going.
And it's like, exactly. And he was just mouthing off to everything. Scott heard him too. He was mouthing off, like, there's a difference between criticism and mouthing off. He was just mouthing off. It was a horrible experience. And that's why I didn't want to be the guy for Shot One, because that guy mouthed off right in front of him before I wanted to give him my critiques. So I kept my critiques to 2 sentences. Hey, make the game more responsive and add more buttons, because in other games like this, the ability to block and dash and hit are 2 different buttons for a reason, because it can overlap each other and the party system can be awkward. He's like, oh, thanks for the critique. And I said that nicely because he understood what I was saying, the thing when you speak. So,
so to help explain that critique, when you play Shot One, literally like one button does everything. So you'll like either dash or you'll shoot, or you'll dash or you'll shoot, or you'll block, and it's just
it's awkward. It's not like Windjammers 2, which is much more refined for a reason. And that's pretty much it. The thing they did different is that they have special shots. Eric had a special ability. Some of the character special ability didn't work after playing it some more. Obviously in early alpha, but the game,
and some of them are different than you're expecting. You'll think your special does something and it does something entirely different.
Yeah, like the big robot person, their ability is that they'll summon a cat that will auto lock for them, allow them to get easy special shots. When you play the mushroom kind of robot guy, the 1 Sentry, he has Sam Ho's ability from Windjammers 2, where you throw random shots at one man's reel with a guess. But for Sam Ho, it's a 1 in 3. For the robot guy, it's a 1 in 5. That makes it 20% chance to be right. I think it's a bit wild. 1 in 3 is a bit better. 33% chance is better than 20. I mean, math. That's just pretty much how I felt about it. But I gave them, like, honestly, some really good game. I'm looking forward to when it fully released or early beta. It's a small indie team. They were also selling swag to help produce the game, so it's really good. And that's really about it. That's shot one in a nutshell. You could talk about Ultrium Shift, and then we'll talk about One Button because we were there too as well.
Yeah, so Ultrium Shift is like an RPG maker, but they're still doing like a design thing of like a 3D type thing of like the 2D HDs. And it is pretty fun. I was confused in the beginning because they put auto run on by default. And usually when RPG makers do that, they'll have like a button you can press to turn it off, or you can just hold a button to walk with it on. I had to actually go into the settings to turn it off because I didn't realize it was on by default.
Yeah, which ruined the whole quest.
The side quest they give you is you have to find like 4 chickens in this town. And I kept running after them, and they kept flying away literally off the edge of the map, so I couldn't get them. So, but the thing is, you have to apparently walk, which makes it difficult when auto runs on by default.
Right, and it's super wild because of that. And I think I was telling Scott the reason why it's done that way, because I think another game we played, we got a chance to play, we got review copies for Absentia, right? Night Bewitched. They also had, I believe, they also had it the same way that way. A lot of them are turning the auto run on because people don't like how RPG Maker, or at least that system of programming, feels slow walking. So they like, oh, we just turn it run to default. Everyone will have to complain about the movement, right? But then they make a puzzle, we have to change the movement. So it's like, thanks, buddy. I appreciate you.
So that part was interesting. But the cool thing is you have like 3 different characters you can choose from. There's like a warrior, wizard, rogue. And I, of course, chose the warrior because I'm very basic, simple-minded when it comes to I like big damage numbers with swords.
Wait. So that's usually a mage, right? Big numbers are usually associated with mages. Wait, no, not what we played last night. Incorrect. Sorry, take that back. No, that is wrong.
Mage can be. I just usually think that need more build-up for mages to be the top.
Yeah, mages are big numbers when they get the conditions. Warriors is big numbers because of big numbers. And then across from them, we went to play another company called One Button City.
Yeah.
They were
One
really
Button
nice people.
City. Is that like a building sim or something?
No, that's the dev name, I believe. They also made a soccer game, or I think Scott
Button City Soccer Days is the game that we went to go play from them.
Yeah, it was really fun. It reminded me of like Rocket Cars combined with like somewhat old school arcade soccer games, and the controls are fluid. It was really good. The best way to describe it is, in a very easiest term, if you don't get that. Hey, has everyone ever played Ape Escape series? The Ape Escape 1, 2, and 3?
Wow, that's a name. Ape
Escape. Yeah, Ape Escape. That game. I guess one of the quote first games use twin stick controls, but Ape Escape. Remember that game? Remember there's a mini game in that game called Monkey Soccer? It's kind of like that, but much more freeform. But it's very fun. I would recommend.
It's pretty simple in its approach, but I really enjoy. Basically, it has like you have a button to shoot, and they have a button to like put pass over people's heads, or you can also like shoot over to try to do both.
Yeah,
so there's a lot of like random mechanics in this game that's very simple. Like you can basically probably just win the game by just trying to like go around people, or you can just lob it over people's head and just try to shoot over a goalie.
Yeah. It was a lot of cool stuff in it. Like you could, like I said, lob, you could hit over. There's no out of bounds, so you have to worry about hitting the ball off the wall. That's like kind of Rocket League. So
yeah, it made it very nice. You didn't have any like I'd say downtime because you're always going after the ball. Because once it goes out of bounds, it doesn't actually go out of bounds because it just hits a wall that comes back. So you're just always playing the game. You're always in it.
Pretty much. I think it was pretty cool though for what they did with that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the full release and can't wait for more of it. But that was a fun one. And then after that, we tried to look for some merch stuff. We did see the giant Polish developer collective with like some of the Polish European developers there.
Yeah, there was a lot.
There was a lot of them. We walked by them like geniuses because you have time to play their game. So, and then we went straight to playing Zoria, and that was
Zoria. We literally lost ourselves in, to be honest.
Yeah, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It was a
It's
really
usually a
good
good thing.
thing.
Yeah, it wasn't like I was wasting my time doing nothing for like 30 minutes, but it was really really good. Like it's a very well done kind of old school RPG where they learned to modernize the controls where most of the actions can be done with like a mouse click, literally. And if you were into WASD controls, well, you can use like FR, etc. And that's like, but it was chef's kiss. They get it. Those guys, they understood. They made a good video game.
It was really fun. And I
Yeah,
got to
multiple
like
classes.
I think I got to the end of the demo before I realized that we were already there long was allowed.
Yeah, yeah. I got to play it like a little after you finished the first act. I was just playing it. I was sitting there like just getting the sauce, trying to figure out like what's the best build or whatever. Like, I think you played a warrior and I played a battle priest, and I was like, it was really good. This is a really and the game. I think demos on Steam right now. Zoria: The Age of Shattering. Just type in Zoria, you'll find it. It's really good. I
I
can't
recommend.
recommend like highly recommend. Like we were in the sauce, and then like I think oh god, Kelsey was like, yeah, we have to grab food. And like, what do you mean? And I was like, did you like the game? I'm like,
We
yeah,
don't need
Did you
food.
eat?
We
Did you
just need to
eat food
play.
at PAX or did you leave?
we left to get food.
We usually would go to they had food carts right outside PAX.
Okay, good.
And that's
Yeah. Every time somebody's like, we bought food at PAX, I go, why? Go outside. Don't eat inside. I remember buying
Well,
a hamburger. It was like $12. Like $12 for a hamburger? You gotta
Yep.
be kidding me.
Guess what?
I'm not
Everything
paying
was
that.
$12 at PAX too. So if you wanted to eat pizza, $12. You wanted to buy a hamburger, $12. You
Nope.
wanted to buy a small little pie, $12.
yeah, I think you guys are just poverty. Like it's not bad, man. I'm from this where I'm at. Like that's like it's worse over here. It's like 15, 20.
I can get a
$12 for fries and a drink.
I can get a slice of pizza and a drink for $5 over here.
Yeah, but he's talking about a mini pie, like a personal pie. Yeah. You see, that's what he's talking about. He's like, if he paid $12 for a slice, that's kind of not great.
Yeah.
So,
I
yeah.
think it's just humorous that like literally everything was $12 except for drinks. All drinks were $5.
That's still
a bottle of
expensive.
water $4. I was like, screw that.
Yeah,
I
no.
starved.
So
Like,
you played.
die.
So you played that. What else did you do? Did you check out any panels or anything, or was that your day?
No.
There was we still had another panel we went to, which was the Eastbird Studios. That's where we got to play Demon School as well as Everdeep Aurora.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a really fun experience. After apologizing to I think Haley, that's her, right?
Yeah, Haley. We
Haley,
messed
yeah.
everything up the previous day because of the bag fiasco. But it was good because we already initially planned 2 different appointments with them. We had one for Demon School, one for Everdeep Aurora, so we decided we had just asked her if we could just combine those into this day's appointment.
Yeah, and we doubled
we
up.
did.
Yeah, they're really kind about it. I get another respect for it. We have to do some content talking about them soon, but shout outs to again, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, Eastbird is a Yesbird game, so shout outs to them. We played Demon School, and I don't think it's on the YouTube video, but I'll probably explain it. So in Demon Schools, me being that RPG nerd guy who sits there and calculate all the numbers, like, hey, would you like to know about the percentage changes in Darker Dungeon 2? I done that. I don't know why, but I did it. So I wanted to test one mechanic of the game. So you can get poisoned in this game. Now I wanted to know, because the game lets you auto plan your moves and attacks first, and then plays it out in the end. I want to know what will react first, your attack or the poison. And Dev, like, what happened? What'd you do? Like, yeah, I just let the poison see what happens. Like, you did that? Like, yeah, he sat there on his phone super fast to know what the reaction. And I'm like, you think that's good or bad? It depends on you, because if there's an ability that allows you to, like, at lower HP do maximum damage or something of that nature, or like low HP berserk mode stuff that present, like, let's say you had an ability that Last Man Standing, off the top of my head, that says that at 1 HP you resist damage death once. So if I had a character have that ability or whatever, and I was able to do a combo with it, that means at every turn I would make sure I'm poisoned, so I'll never die for that turn, and then infinite kill somebody. Like in Disgaea, all the broken combos that you can do in Disgaea. Like, so he wrote that down, and he was like, I can't believe you did. Yeah, so I just wanted to test that, but it's a like, Demon School has a lot of elements that are cool. It has like a social bond experience, like Persona games. It has an atmosphere similar to the Shimagama Tetsu series. It has elements inspired by Valkyrie Profile / Chronicles. In fact, from the time I had, I always get the Valkyrie series confused in my head.
Happens.
But it happens, yeah, because too many Valkyries, man. But it kind of had Valkyrie series, it kind of like that. But I think the first thing people can get over in this game is how the win condition works, and that the action doesn't happen until you end your turn. So there's a lot of people like, wait, what's going on? Then they show you in the end. There's tons of combo mechanics. There's so much similar to the Skaya series. So if you like Disgaea, you'll like this as well. I think it's a well done RPG artistically, and I think I'm looking forward to the full release when it comes out. So shout outs to that game. But yeah, talk more about Aurora.
Alrighty, so Everdeep Aurora is kind of like if you mix like Dig Dug with like Shovel Knight.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
yeah, it's interesting, but basically you play as like a cat with a drill,
So wait,
and you're
let me
trying
stop
to
you.
find your way
Let me stop
down.
real quick. So basically you're saying it's like Shovel Knight Dig. Have you
Yeah.
played that? Okay.
Yeah, so you're trying to keep going down in this dungeon basically, and you have to drill. But the thing is, your drill only has a limited amount of energy, but you can find stations to recharge that energy. So your basic goal is to get to the platforming as low as you go to the levels that you need to go to without using the drill as much, because you want to make sure that your drill's not dead when you go to like a new area. Because otherwise you have to go all the way back to the beginning to recharge the drills and go back down. So basically you have to try to be conservative with your use of the drill. But it also has like enemy encounters. You also will have moments of like puzzle solving with barriers, or even just with like trying to figure out what kind of platforming you want to do, which will require you to like, I need to have this block not drilled, or this block is drilled, kind of a deal. Because if you drill one block you shouldn't have, you can no longer make the area you want to go that has like the treasure chest. So I did my very best to try to find as many treasure chests as I could, which I thought I think I found quite a bit of the number of them. I don't know if I found the max though. But it was fun. I think that my favorite thing is the aesthetics, because it has like this really like old school like Game Boy aesthetics of like a dark white and dark black kind of a deal, where it's like a gray hues in terms of its like aesthetics, and it looks really cool in the way that they make it work.
Yeah, the pixel art's really well done. The coloring is done. It reminds me of God, this is my age showing here. So have any you got remember Downwell the game from Devolver Digital?
Which game?
Downwell.
Oh, Downwell.
Yeah, so in Downwell from Devolver Digital, you can, after you beat a couple of runs or lose a couple times, whatever, you can unlock color shading to change the hue of the game, your character, and how the game looks. And it kind of reminded me of how well it's done. Look like those hues. It's really well done. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was really kind of cool. I kind of wish I had a chance to play the game. A little jealous, to be honest, because it's like I was like God, like go here, like I gotta like, because I'm explorer brain. I'm like, I want to see how far the left side goes. But it's
Yeah.
really, really well done. And in a lot of cases, it has fun exploration. They have characters who are complete jerks. So you run that guy who oh, go get out of here. Like, bro, I want to use your drill. Get out of here.
I don't want you to use my drill, but I do.
I do. Like, yeah, I'm down here, buddy. But yeah, I think that was the end of day 2 for us, I think.
Yeah, I think so. And then day 3 was our arch building discover.
Yeah, that was a fun experience.
So basically how they have this planned out is the summit building is mostly like the obscure indie type titles, where like most of the studios are those who you probably would see like pushed in a corner, say in like PAX East, where like nobody really ever goes there. And the arch building is where everyone else is. The AAAs, the more known indies like Devolver Digital, Exceed, and all that. The only one who wasn't
Wait,
the only
Exceed is indie now?
I'd say
I'm
the
sorry,
only
say that
company that wasn't in that wasn't in the AAA that probably I'd argue is AAA was Bandai. Bandai Namco basically took over Summit. Like they took the middle and were basically the middle with just Tekken. Which everyone was basically just going to the Summit building to play Tekken.
Yeah, it was a lot of
trying
FGC
to get
heads
into that line was gonna be garbage, so we decided not to do that. But the Arch building is where we went to, where we got to see the Exceed games, and that's where we played like almost all the games they had showing.
Yeah, that was Exceed had a really good booth. I forgot her name. Who ran? You probably know. I forgot her name. I feel bad, but she ran the booth, the media lady.
Oh, the PR person? Yeah, that was Sonia.
Sonia, there we go. I almost said Sunny for my accent would have came out. And you heard plenty of my real accent in public, so I gotta try to hide that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, like Sonia, you're really great. Charles Brown, we played Fashion Dreamer. That was an interesting gotcha art game. Apparently, my Thanos shirt I was wearing was a 2-star gotcha, which was great. Grunge for life, that's good stuff right there.
We're gonna be rating people's clothing now based on the rarity of gotcha it is fashion.
Yeah, like apparently, like I said, apparently '90s grunge kid is 2-star. Like I can't believe it. It's over. So that happened a lot, and whatchamacallit? We played that, and then we played a Silent Hope, which we didn't have no recording of it, but I really did enjoy that game a lot. I think we did a video, we did a trailer reaction.
We did do a video about that.
You can check out more of my opinions there, but in long story short, I enjoy it. I hope the game does well, and I hope that a sequel comes out that has multiplayer. It's really that fun.
I really hope that it gets a sequel with multiplayer, because that game is totally geared toward a multiplayer experience. Having so many characters to choose from, having like not really big areas, but like medium-sized areas that you can explore. So there's a lot of potential in Silent Hope, and I really do hope that it does well enough to warrant getting more of that potential fleshed out.
Right. And then before we got to play the game we wanted to play, you played the Toho Bullet Hell game.
Toho New World, yep.
Yeah, because I had to make a phone call to a friend and my wife, so I was like, okay, I got to make this phone call, let them know both of them I'm alive. So yeah.
Yeah, so that was a fun one. That like the Toho series has a lot of like fan games where they have a lot of variety of selections. This one was a bullet hell where basically it like mixed bullet hell with like an action RPG where you had to like make sure that you had the abilities you needed, but you also needed to make sure that you dodged everything, because like bullet hells, you can dodge. But this one also incorporated a perfect guard mechanic where if you guard something at the right time, you will guard hits for like a full second and a half kind of a deal. And I basically spammed guard a bunch with that. Even so much that the guy at the booth is like, this is the most that I've seen someone perfect guards this well. I'm like, I know that I can't dodge worth of crap, so I gotta guard as much as I can.
Right, which is a good alternative. Like, because in bullet hell games, there's like 2 core designs that come to bullet hell games. Keith, you could jump in on this one. It's true. There is either
say something. Go ahead.
Waiting for you to say something positive, of course.
I was waiting for you to say, Keith. I know you play bullet hell games, so you're allowed to talk.
You know what? That's not true. You didn't play bullet hell games. All you play is Soul-like games. We know that. So in bullet hell games, there's usually 2 kind of main design decisions. Either the blank, I call it, the wipe the screen is too full, or you gain a shield or dodge. And I kind of like how the Toho game kind of like found a way to put a medium between the 2, because that's just like what designed it. Like in game, like, you know what I'm talking about, blank, like all the bullets are gone. You only use like maybe 2 per level. You get sometimes 3 if you're nice.
Like the bombs.
And there's one that lets you like the bomb, exactly, called the bomb, yeah. Or you get a shield that kind of makes you impervious for a couple of seconds. Or I forgot the game that let you did it. Was it Raiden or some other game where you had like 2 different color lasers? If you're a blue laser, you can dodge all blue bullets, and if you're red laser, you dodge all red bullets.
Well, it wasn't. There's a couple games do that, but Ikaruga is the black and white.
Ikaruga, there we go. Yeah, Ikaruga.
And I don't play bullet hell games. See.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you only play Souls-like games, as you've seen on the YouTube page. It's only Souls games, and tons and tons of content on Armor Core 6. If you guys want to check out, this man's been grinding that game like his life.
There used to be some bullet hell games on there, but I realized people stopped caring about those, so I stopped playing those.
It's niche. It's niche. I'm gonna be very real. It's very rich.
But there's still lots of bullet hells that get made. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of bullet hells, if you want to jump to day 3, we could talk about we can skip around day 3 a bit.
Well, you don't want to talk about the main event. No.
You know what?
It comes after.
Oh yeah, all right. We'll talk about the reason why we really went to PAX. Okay, this is indie gacha game called Grand Blue, made by these small developers called Psy Games, right? Very small company, and they decided to make an action game called Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. And Scott and I played that game like it was our lives, to the point that I think we punched people in line to play it, right? Like I recall Scott like legitimately German suplex like one of the participants to actually get in line. It was insane. It's
So you
so
got
violent,
two
you know?
videos of the game, and people were like, "You had more gameplay." I'm like, "I don't think they do." So
We don't have more gameplay of Grand Blue. We
We
wish we
tried to.
did.
We tried
If
to,
we
but
could spend an hour just at that booth, we probably would have.
so you
we
just
would
played with
have.
Lancelot and Charlotta. I can't pronounce her name.
Charlotte, yeah, Charlotte, yeah.
Yeah, Charlotta.
I play Charlotta, and I suggested Scott to play Lancelot because Lancelot's my favorite character in Grand Blue Fantasy versus the fighting game. Like, I don't play ninja characters, but he's my favorite ninja character I ever played.
He's a fun character to play as, though. So
Yeah.
it was a good option because my other one was going to be going to Siegfried, but even the guy at the saying how I might want to not do that as my first go-to because he's apparently the hardest character to play as in the game.
Right, and I saw people talk. So Siegfried, in this game, has an armor mechanic that allows him to go through stuff like a psycho. Problem is, you have to time and do the armor well.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's like you want to be a tank. I'm gonna be a tank. You know. There's one character that caught my eye. It was Reckham. I wanted to play him, but I couldn't. I was sad that Eustace was in the game, the other gun character. But you know what? Maybe he's in the full game. But you know what? They had a good cast of characters. I'll leave it as that.
They had a
Well,
pretty
before you
decent
go any
cast for
further,
just the demo.
Before you guys go any further, I will say I have not been following Relink just because I wanted to be blown away. I know Scott's been talking a lot about this game. Other people have been talking about this game, and I did not know
Yeah.
it was going to be an action RPG.
Yeah.
That is a very. I love it. I love what I'm seeing so far.
It is a very good action RPG
It's
too.
an RPG.
If you're someone who has complained about Final Fantasy 16 not having enough RPG elements, that is your game. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink has your RPG elements, has a great variety of people you can play as with a very diverse moveset, ability set, ultimate set, and has a great party mechanic, has a bunch of link attacks. It has so much into that game
And it's
that combat
right?
is going to be amazing. Yeah, they're going to make it as 4-player co-op.
Nice.
So
yeah, we don't know if it's online yet, but it's all Gucci.
My guess is it will be online. My guess is it
just add
won't be
rollback.
touched.
Just rollback. Just add rollback. You add rollback, you win the game. But so what the thing I loved about the game is from a technical aspect is that they incorporated so if you play Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, the special moves and their play styles are in that game. I believe when you were playing Lancelot, you were able to do the Ice Fang, the Ice Fang tackle attack.
Yep.
That's in the game. Like, yo, it's there. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Like, they got the thing down. One of the mechanics that the guy, I think Brian was talking about, was that he said that, oh yeah, there's perfect dodge in the game, but every character does it differently. Like, so you saw me, I was playing Charlotte, I was hitting those perfect dodges, and yeah, they gave me invincibility, which puts her in the air, which in Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, she has a command flip that puts her in the air and allows her to do mix up from dive bomb to a command throw to a low, etc. And it felt really good that when I hit the dodges, I was able to connect to the other moves as well. Like, it's chef's kiss fluidity.
So basically, it has like fighting game mechanics.
Yeah, it does. It has some fighting game. If you know the character, you can pull up the proper fighting game combos. Yes. You had the link system.
This feels like an evolution of, I don't want to say Castle Crashers. Matt, you probably played this game back in the day. Guardian Heroes, Sega Saturn.
Yes. Yeah. I would say it's an evolution of that, but to me, this is to me the pinnacle of Monsu games are, but done better. Like you play enough Monsu games, like Dynasty Warriors and Samurai, etc. Like they're all kind of like this, but this is the pinnacle of what you want. This adds all of that and difficulty. So yeah, there's even a time limit. If you don't beat the boss quick enough, you don't fight the second boss. So I think it was really neat.
Yep, it was really cool.
Sounds like probably like I said, we're gonna have to play.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're gonna have to play. Yeah, I call dibs on Reckham or Eustace for obvious reasons, and my boy Lancelot, because
Yeah, so that was by far the prime of day 3 was Grand Blue Fantasy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, then that was day 2. Oh, also for day 2, we went to the NIS booth. I did not win the raffle. I didn't win any of the raffles. I was a straight loser, as it should be,
Man, when I go into events, they give me raffle tickets, and I go, I don't know why you're giving this. I'm never gonna win, and I just toss them because I never win. I never win.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that if it wasn't for Kelsey, shouts to her. She won twice and gave me a win, so that was really good.
I won once,
So I
Kelsey won twice, and Matt won nothing.
just like in real life, I win absolutely nothing. Straight up out here,
all three of us left with a pin that day still.
Yeah, we all have a pin, and and day 2 was by far a very productive day. I think day 2, day 3 was the best for us. Day 3 was outside of appointments. We did all the networking that we need for the website.
We did a bunch of networking on day 3, yeah.
And Scott learned my business talk. Like he was like, "Wait, you can do this?" Like, bro, I've been doing this for a long time. Like, you wouldn't believe how I could sell. I could sell water. I could sell water to the ocean. That's how good my business speak is. I'm not joking. But holy, we did a lot. Yeah,
the shame PlayStation wasn't there.
Nah, I'm not surprised.
Oh God, I'm not surprised. No, I'm not surprised. Now, a lot of people that I thought there wasn't going to be there. I was a little surprised.
Yeah, I did wish that we had more time to check out some of the other Arch stuff, like Sega. But Sega also had a huge line for everything too.
Of course, so Sega.
Yeah, but they also had Yakuza and Persona 5 Tactica, so that was their big
wasn't Sonic
games.
Superstars.
Oh no,
there as well?
and Persona 3.
Oh yeah, and Persona 3 Reloaded.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't think Sonic was actually there.
Really?
Which is weird.
No.
That was a weird thing to not have Sonic there.
It was not there. But for day 3, we did a lot of. We had maybe I think we had one appointment that day for day 3.
The Biomorph.
The Biomorph, and then we just wandered a bit and just talked around.
We went to all the places that we didn't know was there, so that we could actually do networking with some of the people.
Don't you love that?
Didn't.
I do that all the time at PAX East. I'm done my appointments. I'm like, all right, let me just walk around, and I usually end up in Indie Mega Booth or whatever they're calling it now. And then it's just like I just stay there. And I just bump into people. And the developers I find at the indie booths are just so amazing. They want to talk to you. They want to network with you. They want to know what you think about their stuff. I think, and there are also some of the hardware companies. I think when we were at PAX East, we were tired. We went to the back just to sit down. And we ran into this one guy, and he's running this big. It wasn't Dell. It was another company. They made custom PCs, and we're sitting there, and he walked up to us, and we just started talking for a good hour. I'm like, oh, damn, we got stuff to do. Thanks, man. I never got his card because he didn't have any, but it was really nice. Who was it? God, it was Omen, HP Omen, and that's why I didn't really care about it because I know some of the guys there, so it wasn't a big deal.
Nice.
But I'm sorry, continue.
No, they had a lot of hardware places, but we didn't really check them out. I know Spectre was super busy, so we didn't want to try to interrupt that.
No, Scott, that's what you're supposed to do. Excuse me, I have a badge. I want to talk to you. That's exactly what you're supposed to do.
I need to get a better backbone in that case. They have 5 other people they need to talk to. I want to go to this other nobody.
One thing I've learned of going to all these conventions, if you have a press badge or a media badge and I want to talk to you about your stuff, they will go, okay, let's talk.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised he didn't tap me to do it because I was being because of the horribleness I had from day 0, I forgot my business cards in my home. So I pretty much made a good on the spot spiel that I was the guy and Scott was the manager. So I was wheels and he was the leg man. If you know the joke, you know the joke. So I was smooshing over people. I'm sorry they didn't tap me to do it. I would hey, what's up? I would have ran through them. I would have schmoozed them. I would have got us to pay us for our dinner we needed tonight because we got to eat. Oof. But we met a lot of cool developers. I met some developers I knew in the past. Some people that aware, et cetera, et cetera. I met the people who made the Dungeon Defender series. It's really fun. We met. We networked with a new developer who's working on a game called Ink Inside.
Yeah, Ink Inside.
There was a really fun. Ink Inside, yeah. I met the developer and their team. They fought now, shout out to you guys following me on the Twitters because I really want to know about indie games. Appreciate that. That was a fun experience. A lot of people were just a lot more friendly than it was. But overall, yeah, day 3 was fun because we played a lot of games you didn't have a chance to play. We played Rabbit and Steel, which was one of my favorite games.
Yep.
Rabbit
Chaos starts a game. That was hilarious.
That was very good. I was in the Polish collective and group, and before we played Body, I played the greatest game of our lifetime, Warlock 2. I was trying to get Scott to understand why I like this game. He's like, we keep talking like, bro, play it. Just play the game, please. And he and I were just like talking smack about like modern shooter games and talking about what we liked about like cool animations. Like he knew I knew, like, yo, you put some lot of work in those reload animations. It's really cool stuff. And he's like, finally someone gets in, we bro hugged, and I felt his warm embrace on me, which was great. Friends get a warm embrace, that was great. I played Sacred Fire. The same development team who made Regalia, King and Monarchs. I only played it for 15 minutes, but he and I, like Scott was I was just smooching. I was like, we were just talking about game design. We were talking about like what he did for the game and how cool it is, et cetera, et cetera. Sacred Fire is a really, really well done kind of action. It's a really done RPG across the board. I think that this might be the sleeper hit of the year next to Chain Echoes. It's Chain Echo, Sea of Stars, and This Way to Madness Lies are probably the best RPGs in recent of the indie era of this current indie wave, like last 2-3 years. And Sacred Fire me up there.
Now we just
play them. That's a whole.
Now we just need developers to make an indie RPG, similar to Phantasy Star 2, and I'll be happy. One of my favorite RPGs.
All right, so. Yeah. Okay. So how close do you want it to Phantasy Star 2? I'm being very serious. Do you want it with no map, or you want a map included?
I want a map included.
Even there's no map part. There's no map in Phantasy Star 2, bro. There's a map in Phantasy Star 4.
No, I thought you were talking about the world. I'm sorry. I was like procedure generator or actual thought out map. Sorry.
No, a map as in like a map where you look to the left of the thing and you know where you are walking around, because in Phantasy Star 2 there is no map.
No, there's no maps in those games. No. Why would I want that?
Because those dungeons you can get lost in, the rooms are very similar and you can be there for hours.
Well, that's the fun part.
You may not. That was not half the fun part of the high encounter rate, my friend. After a while, if you didn't know, you didn't know.
And like there was a guy. I love being lost in those dungeons, except when I run out of hell.
The thing is that, like, thank God they fixed it in the other games. But it's like in Phantasy Star 2, I enjoy. It's great. There was a guy who was a streamer. He actually did full paper maps, redrawing the Phantasy Star 2 game and uploading them so you know where you are. He played the game and mapped it out by paper to know where he was walking.
I beat that game when I was a kid. Come on now. You don't need that.
Are you 100%ing, my friend? Are you like, you're doing what I'm doing?
There's no such thing as 100% no. Phantasy Star 2 when you were that young. Come on now.
Your 100% was the credits.
Exactly. My 100% was, yo, can I find the legendary shotgun that does a lot of damage?
How do you even know you 100% the game, because you don't have, like, there's no list of you need to do all this stuff. There's no achievements or anything telling you, hey, you missed something. There's nothing. There's just like, you beat the game. You beat Mother Brain. You're done.
Here's the thing.
Congratulations.
Here's the thing, right? So I played Phantasy Star 2 as a kid. Didn't beat it. It was whatever, right? I was like, blah blah blah. Then what was going on? I'm a stupid 5-year-old. Get silly. It's not the smartest guy in the world. So when I got older, there was this thing called the Sega Dreamcast, one of the greatest consoles of our generation, and they had the Sega Game Mix.
I won't say was.
I was, because it's not around anymore. Okay,
it still is. People still make games for that. Indie people still make games for Dreamcast.
It definitely still has a community.
Community, yeah. So, Sega Dreamcast, someone made the Sega Mega Collection that had all the games on it. It had like Phantasy Star 2, a bunch of the biggest hits that they run around. So at that time I was youth, I got to replay the game, and there was this site called GameFAQs.com, and boy, that was fun to look up that website to find things. Like, no, it was a good look. In my youth, it was a good time. In my adulthood, I don't like the cycles. The forums are run by people who don't think. Who says things that makes no sense.
I still remember the days of being a kid and going to GameFAQs to then print off all the stuff I wanted because I didn't have a lot of internet.
See, everybody keeps saying they went there when they were a kid. I never did that.
Because you didn't use the internet like we were, man. You weren't fully internet. We were halfway.
Yeah, that is there definitely is an age gap there, a generation gap there. You're right. We didn't have that.
A little bit.
I had to use GameFAQs for the 101 Dalmatians of Kingdom Hearts 1.
A lot of people did. I did it too to find all the pages for Underhanger Woods because I wanted to know what happened to Christopher Robin.
Yeah.
He went away, man. He's supposed to come back.
But
He
continue
was
about
supposed to
PAX.
come back.
We're getting off track here. Continue about PAX.
Yeah, all right. We'll talk
Yes,
about
we
PAX,
are.
not about how Kingdom Hearts 2 can break you emotionally as a video game. So, Rabbit and Steel, fun game, really enjoyed it. And at the Polish Collective, I played Sacred Fire. Scott played Warlock 2. And you don't play first-person shooters, but how do you feel about it? Like, tell the crowd. How does that make you feel? Yeah,
It is definitely a very active first-person shooter where you have to move at all times. And
it's literally move or die. Yeah,
pretty much. I do find it humorous. Like we were in line waiting and watching the other people play, and like everyone in their the knife the whole time. Apparently, there's a dagger build you can do, and I'm just over here just grabbing guns off the wazoo. I'm just like, I'll use this gun, I'll use this gun, I'll use this gun. Just shooting everything I can see because I'm running away.
Yeah. You were
everything.
You were the smart one. You're like use a knife, like blah blah, shotgun empty, blah blah. Oh crap.
Next gun.
And then you got chased out by a rock monster because you ran out of ammo.
Yep.
Like, because the reason why everyone used a knife because everyone was ammo scared. You were like, screw that, I got a gun.
If this gun dies, I'll get another gun. I don't care. Because there's a lot of guns in at least the level that I was doing. So I don't think it's that hard to really do like the ammo. I just think the problem for me was once you got trapped on a boss and ammo, you just have to hope that you have enough ammo to kill it.
Yeah, very true.
I did not, by the way.
I did not have enough ammo. The ammo was not good. Yeah.
But I think it was a fun time. I do think that I probably would do better if I played more first-person shooters, of course.
Hey,
but it definitely has its like
there's a bunch of them out there.
It's definitely got its Doom inspirations.
Yeah, it's a very old school one because it's like a lot of modern shooters are more hunk down, bunker style, and you just like pressure to the end you win. This is more like zoom or die.
Yeah, new ones you have cover. This one, good luck.
Good luck. Your health is cover. That's yeah.
You can play a bunch of boomer shooters and start from there.
I will slowly ease him into it. I'll start like he played old school Doom. I'll get him up there, and then he could play Project Warlock too. But no, it's a fun experience. I recommend people who like those type of old school shooters give it a try out. It's definitely a lot better than Bolt Gun because Bolt Gun is done artistically well, but it's just very basic. It's very basic.
Oh, but we got speaking of that, not to throw you off, we got Witchfire Early Access coming out soon. Cannot wait for that.
That's
not a first-person shooter.
That sounds fun. That sounds fun. I can't wait to try that. So after we left the Polish Collective, we played Body. We both played Body. Another fun co-op platformer game because we played another co-op platformer game called Fling to the Finish.
Yep.
We played that, and that was fun. We played this fun. I think I mentioned this to the developer, and I mentioned this to Scott as well, and I'll say it here. I like this era of co-op platformers because a lot of people play platformers, but playing platformers with a friend is a lot more fun. I think it's really fun games.
Yeah. You would think, right? You know, that was then again, co-op platformers, couch co-op or online or both?
Yes.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Anything that has co-op, either couch or online, or if I can do it both. Like, if I can, my critique with like the old Dokapon Kingdom on Switch was that you can only do one or the other. You can't do both, which is why I'm so glad it's on Steam that you can do both because Steam Remote Play happens.
Good old Steam Remote Play. Steals your hair and your money.
Yep. It was really fun.
So, what was your honest opinion of this? Because you guys went through a lot of stuff, talk about a lot of stuff. What was your honest opinion about the event? And if you could pick one or two games as your favorite that you played there, what would they be?
Grand Blue Fantasy Relink.
Grand Blue is up there for me, but it's up there too. But if there's another game besides that, it's a tie between Rabbit and Steel and Zoria. Zarya, yeah, Zarya's up there too, but it's a lot. But honestly, though, I think PAX West was really well done. It's nice. Besides it being two booths, it felt spacious. I never felt it was crammed. I never felt I
Yeah.
was like suffocating.
There was a lot of walking space, and they even had like arrows and like boundaries to separate people that you couldn't like go past here because this is the booth spot basically.
Right. It was the opposite from my experience from like going from conventions in New York, where it's just a lot of people, it's crammed, it's hard to do things. I did like talking to developers, people who valued opinions, and to put that they're really good. I felt like this was I might come back next year. I might, because depending on the situation, come back next year.
Yeah.
But it was a really good event. Plus or minus my awful day one, day zero, and Taxi Man, you suck. I hope all the bad things happen to you. But it was a really good experience. I enjoyed a lot of it. It was spacious. I really liked the games they had there. I think the way they ran a display system was really nice. Devolver Digital ran memes, and I always loved them for that.
It was fantastic.
Their booth is always amazing, no matter what they do. They're can't say the word I want to say. They are hilarious. Hilarious is the word. I love them. I love them.
Yeah. And one game that me and Scott and Kelsey played was the weird platformer master game. Don't get touched by the thing by Behemoth.
Oh,
that was a fun one too. There's a lot of fun games, but to me, the most fun I really had was just enjoying the games and talking to people who were passionate about it and knew what they were talking about. And it was really great across the board. I think all the games I played that I discussed about, I really enjoyed. But the one, obviously, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, Silent Hope. I think it was really interesting to see Xseed there, because I've always thought that a lot of Japanese developers aren't cool with us Westerner boys compared to some media people keep saying that. They keep saying that, Japan hates us, and that's not true. I mean, you hate them. That's a you problem. But
we won't talk about that here.
I know, I'm joking. Yeah, I'm joking. I mean that jokingly, but I really enjoyed it. It was a really good fresh breath of air. It felt like a proper convention, because all the conventions I feel now just shove rooms to go whatever and just run it in. This felt personal. I really enjoyed it. The people there were nice. It was really good to talk to people, and the games displayed were there. It felt genuine. It felt real. It didn't feel like all the times I go to conventions here where it's crammed, it's packed, you have a limited time, you have to know a guy. This was a really good con experience, and I might go again next year. So I really enjoyed the whole process. PAX East, Matt? No, I've only been once, and that was because you jumped me.
Wait, so you went?
Yeah, I only went once because you jumped. Yeah, no, that's a joke. I went there because you jumped me. I mean, I was forced to. No, but no, I don't recall going to PAX East. Well, I might go this year, which is I think next year, which is March, which would be fun.
Yeah,
next year March, which will be fun to go to. I might consider that. I already got travel plans set for it. The flight's not that expensive. I might take a train there. It depends, but I'm really looking forward to it. I really like. We might just fly
because it's just faster. We're gonna fly there.
Yeah, it depends. Nonstop is like an hour and a half, so it's no biggie. You just have to beat the airport. You just have to get to the airport. That's just the brutal part.
As soon as they announced it last year, but not many people remember. And a lot of the places like Airbnb have not opened up yet, because I want to go to Airbnb. There are a couple ones that I was going to go to this year, but I missed them because I want to be right behind the convention center or near it, because I'd rather spend $1,000 or something for 4 or 5 days in somebody's apartment versus that in a hotel room.
Well, it depends, but if you want to obviously talk off camera, split cancel, blah blah. The one thing I do suggest we do though is I've been trying to tell, because Scott it was hard getting in and out of Seattle, so we had queue times. But there's an old school thing I would do with my homies in the fighting game community, people hang out with. And at the end of any longer day, we go and have a dinner together, like the real homies do. And that was always been fun to me to do. So if we go to PAX this year, we've got to do that. We got to have a dinner together.
Yeah,
next year.
And I want to do that. I also want to do that with more of our peers. I want to do networking with more of our peoples. I talk to a lot of people now as it is, but I want to meet up with some of the other people there. Because I go to the press room and I go, "Hi guys, bye guys," and then I leave.
Yeah, most of them do that at the select parties they have. I think Air Syndicate did that. Some companies did that. They do that, but for their own part. You have to go to their parties to do that. I'm personally 50-50 about that, because drinking at parties and people,
Well, I don't drink, so hey. There you go.
Yeah, look, man, I have a predilection paranoia about going to parties. But honestly, PAX was a fun event. I enjoyed majority of the games I played from them. I hope those developers remember us and give us some shout outs or content to make because I do want to help these games. The games are really good, and I hope for the best. It was a fun experience. Those are
But
my
you have
final
not
thoughts.
reached
Scott,
out
what
to
do
them
you?
like, hey guys, remember me? Remember me? Remember me?
Oh,
I
no,
reached
I've
out to
done
a few of them, yeah.
I've done that. Yeah, we've done that. I said that, hey, if you don't give me what I want, I will just talk smack about you on Twitter. That was literally what I went for.
And then they go, you and what follower count? No,
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, it's time to brag my 160 Twitch followers and my like 700 plus people on Twitter or whatever. Like it's time. It's time to do it.
Yeah, I really liked PAX. This was my first time going, and it was also, I think, kind of a moment of revelation for me because, like, I wasn't sure how to really, like, I'd say, act as like a media contact of going as a press person. I wasn't sure how exactly what I needed to do. So a lot of the time that I was not in appointments, I would basically just spend time like in lines waiting as everyone did, not trying to upset the status quo just because I had a media badge. So the fun thing is there were moments and times where like the exhibitors would notice I had a media badge and then be like looking at me weirdly and be like, hi.
That's funny.
So it's
And
also a fun way to like garner conversations because then they'd ask you, "Oh, you're a media. What do you work for?" kind of a deal, and then that would work as a way to try to discuss and get contacts that way. I remember the Spellbearers person wondering why we didn't make an appointment. I'm just like, I didn't even know you guys were here, so we just popped by while we were here.
oh, the Sumi Forge people. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That was yeah,
So
that was odd. Yeah, and the sad part is like when they did that, I'm aware of your games. Like, don't worry, Scott. Anytime I'll cover for you because all into my brain. Like, oh yeah, I played this, but yeah, I played again. Like, the moment she said that, I was like, cover mode. I know exactly what to do. My corporate senses tingling. My ability to bullshit top notch. Let's go. No, I mean that unironically, but it's like I was gladful that you gain a lot of confidence talking to people, whatnot, because you've always been like a guy like you're chill, but like confidence, like it's all good. I felt like it was like I said, I go to cons here and there, and I really enjoy PAX. I think it was a good experience, and I can't wait. I may consider going next year, but next year I will take more PTO off and maybe get fired for it. I'm just kidding, but take more PTO to make sure I get there on time. Like
yeah.
I will do what I can to get there because I don't want to have to name off every item in my backpack again.
Yeah, one thing I was surprised about was so PAX West had a recommendation for masks, but it wasn't like a necessity.
I was going to ask you
It
about
wasn't
that.
fully. Yeah.
So there was, I mean, there's basically 75% of people weren't masked. There's like a small percentage that were, and even like exhibitors weren't masked. So that you could argue is a problem, but luckily, so we were prepared, and so I don't think we caught anything. But I don't think that's going to be the case for everyone because I already noticed 3 of the other people that I talked to all had people that were in PAX that did get COVID there. So
Yeah, I don't want to get
Yeah.
into politics and all that fun stuff, but when they said that they weren't going to require masks and or vaccinations, I was like, all right, here we go again. People, you still have not learned. We are
yeah,
not out of this pandemic. I don't know who told you we were. You need to wear a mask.
Honestly, it was just weird. Like I had a mask, we had a mask. I didn't even. So this is the first time hearing. I was unaware of the vaccination part. I thought it just said no, like people being free will on mask, and I'm like, fine,
no.
but
No,
no vax.
The
nope.
Oh
weird
my
thing
god,
too is King County, like the place where Seattle is, has a very strict code for vaccination cards for restaurants as well as movie theaters. So it's weird that Reed Pop wouldn't require that in King County because you'd think that would be a requirement King County would have of at least having vaccination cards if you don't have masks.
that's wild.
That's
It's funny
frustrating.
because whenever I tried to go to a movie theater with my parents, we always had to make sure that we had our vaccination card on us.
Oh wow.
Yeah, even
Speaking
now,
of which,
I'm worried about that when I go certain places. Like if I go to a movie now, I won't wear a mask, but I will make sure that if I'm on the edge, I buy that middle seat. So you can't sit next to me. Yes, I'm paying a little more extra money, but I'm also taking care of myself. I don't care. I will only sit
yeah,
on the edge.
honestly, understandable. But yeah, when PAX was over, it was a fun event, and then when I came home, I had to straight work after. So that was a minimal sleep, and then me being the work slave that I am. So yeah, that was. But overall, I if I had to give PAX a rating, a solid A minus.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Solid A minus. Fair enough.
Solid A minus. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you two enjoyed your PAX West. I keep saying PAX East. Your PAX West.
You're on the East Coast. I'm on the East Coast too, bro.
I would have been there if I wasn't screwed over. I would have been there. I would have been there.
Yeah, you would have been there, and then you would have saw me like member panic crunching how much money I lost and everything, and how I got screwed over by the airport, and then how I had to teach Kelsey the difference between platons and tostones. There's a difference, my friend. I would know. I would know. No, right, I meant that jokingly because, yeah.
I'm gonna cut you guys short. I'm gonna let you get the rest of your day back. I got stuff to do. But I appreciate you guys taking out an hour to talk about your PAX West 2023 adventures. And if you hear me slurring a little bit, people, it's because I had some tooth work done and it sucks and it hurts, and I think I need to take my medication again. It's starting to hurt again. Ouch.
I hope you feel better, man. And it was fun, man. We should. I hope we can get invited to more conventions and talk more about it. And I think it's a good experience. It's something that I do feel, even from a casual to media, whatever. Go out to a PAX. It's a different feeling from other gaming conventions, other conventions in general. It's a good feeling.
And that said, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take it easy, folks.